Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, good morning, everyone. Jennifer, I believe you're with us. I wanted to thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, Jet Global, an insight software company, will be presenting an overview of the robust reporting tools for both GP, BC, and NAV. TMC is fortunate to have worked with Jet Global for many years, and we do have quite a few clients who are using their products and are very happy with them. So I hope that you'll find the same and gather some information and see if Jet Global is a good offering for you. So that said, I'm going to pass it to Josh, who will be presenting to you, and we can go from there. Josh?
Perfect. Thanks for the introduction, Jim and Roland, and TMC for having us here, as well as McKinley on our side for helping get everything set up. So yeah, like Jim said, my name is Josh Bolby. I'm a channel manager over here at Insight Software. A lot of you guys do know us as Jet Global. And so just to set a little bit of an introduction, as far as what we're going to, or an agenda today, what we're going to do, so I'm just going to go through really a high-level overview of the different Jet applications, show how we can build out a few reports from scratch, leverage out some of our pre-built reports, how we can help enable remote workers, look at a little bit of the different data visualization tools specifically within Power BI and how that works when it's backed by Jet. And then at the end of this, we'll look through how we can better leverage your capital with some of the pre-built reports that we have right outside of the box. And then if we have some time, we'll go through a little bit of a Q&A there at the end. And so going through, like I said, just to let you guys know, a little bit about Jet. We were acquired by Insight Software April of 2019 to join their total suite of solutions for empowering the office of the CFO. Over here at Jet Global, we're focused specifically within the Microsoft Dynamics space in order to help businesses solve the problem of getting data out of your database into a place where you can more effectively make better business decisions. So going through this, just to start before we get into the reports themselves, a few things I want to touch on right now, especially in the current economic climate we're living in, is what I'm hearing from different customers, what they're looking for in a reporting solution, and really how Jet is going to be able to help this. So a lot of people I'm talking to, there's been quite a bit of an increased demand by finance teams who are looking at quick answers as the different business conditions change, as things are popping up in the world, as businesses, are starting to open up. They're wanting real-time data access, be able to get those reports more frequently, really be able to drill down into that data, be able to, consume those reports in a way that's going to allow them to make better business decisions, as well as, different ad hoc reporting, determining different what-if scenario planning, making sure, when you're looking at, different accounts receivable, accounts payable, where can we, clear up cash in certain scenarios. That'll be one thing we'll be taking a look at. Again, enabling remote workers. We have a Jet Hub, which we'll be digging into, which is really a good way to help that as everyone begins working from home on, a more regular basis as of right now. And then lastly, getting just a better pulse on your business by having the dashboards and the visualization tools that, you can quickly build out, be able to share with your team in just a matter of minutes, and start really consuming that data in a way that's going to allow you to, make the best decisions that you can. So going through the Jet solutions, we're going to start with Jet Reports. And so this is our real-time reporting tool. And so what that means is that when I hit run, if a transaction is posted, I'm going to see the most recent transactions so I can get real-time information. There's not going to be any intermediary between myself and the information I'm looking at. And one of the things you'll notice as we run a few of these reports and start to build them out is that's going to be very easy to set up and configure. And once you have that set up, you just simply run, refresh that report. You'll be able to grab the latest set of information that you need to have quick access to. So you're not going to have to do a lot of copying and pasting to get what you need to see. And this is all going to live right inside of Excel. And then another thing to note with Jet reports is when you run these, they're going to honor the security credentials that are set up in your Dynamics database. So everything is going to be controlled, governed, and secured. So users running reports, they're only going to be seeing the tables in the fields that they have access to. And now while I'm going through this demonstration, I'm going to be jumping back and forth a little bit between the slides and actually the building out and consuming of these reports. So kind of segueing there, I'm just going to pull up a blank Excel sheet and just show you how we can quickly build a report using Jet. And so what I want to emphasize at the top of this sheet is where our Jet ribbon is going to live. So this is the Jet Excel add-in. And you can see starting on the left over here, this is where you'll be able to run these reports, get the most recent data that you want to see. We have different report building tools just to make it quicker, much easier to start building those reports out. You'll be able to upload these reports right within inside the hub in order to consume those reports with you and your team. You'll be able to schedule these reports out, as well as toggle the different data sources you're using and the different companies you're looking at. So if I toggle a different data set here, you can see it'll switch to the data source you're going to be using. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with our Fast Financials tool. And so what this is just the quickest way to get financial information out of your system into Excel. And then you can start configuring these reports however you'd like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, I'm going to grab my revenue accounts. And then right within that, it's just drag and drop. So I'm going to grab my cost of goods sold. Again, you can see as I'm dragging and drop this, if you look at the top, you can select the different columns you want to include. Obviously, in this example, we're grabbing that account number, name, amount, and budget within that. And now we have a quick and easy profit and loss statement built out. And if we want to run this report to get that real-time information, we'll just hit run. You'll see we have some different report options. So we can change start date, end date. We can toggle between our global dimensions, change the company we're looking at. In this case, we're looking at my US company. Then we can just run this report. And now we're seeing real-time information. And if I want to get even more granular and really dig in to the data, if I want to go in, I want to see my retail sales of North America, I can do that by just clicking into it. And as we go, it'll just take a second to load in here. This is what I've been joking about is the one thing about working from home is the internet is not always as fast as I'd like it to be. We'll just give this a second and we'll be able to drill in to the data itself. And here we go. This pops up. We can get in, to the different, we can see the account numbers, the entry numbers. We can really dig in to those specific invoices, consume all the data within that. And that's really one of the most powerful pieces of Jet reports, that I'm often hearing from customers. I need an ability to drill into this information, and this is exactly what you'll be able to do with this. You can filter your columns, so whether you want to clean that up, there's only a few things you need to see. You can export that to another Excel sheet and begin consuming that data any way you'd like. So I'll just exit out of that. And then what I'll do, because we're in Excel, we can actually use Excel's functionality and really start customizing this report. And one thing I do want to mention is that when you're using Jet reports, there are two different users. So we have our viewers, who we're just acting as, who, you know, they can run these reports, they can toggle between the different options when they're running it. And then we have our designers, who that's where you're going to be able to build these reports completely from scratch and start customizing what you want to see. So whether you just want to see a space within that, we can change some colors at the top here. We can go in and we can change our start date. We can change our end date. And then we can just copy paste this over. And this is where we're using the functionality within Excel itself to start building out the report we want to see. So if we use our end of month function in here, we can grab that, get our end of month, copy paste that over, and we can drag it again. And again, I mean, just that quickly, we can start building out a very in-depth report, whether you want to see quarterly, yearly, month to month. I mean, you can go in, you can change the date ranges you want to see. You'd be able to schedule this report to be ran at the intervals you want, be able to share this report out with certain members of your team, or if it's just for yourself you need to look at, you can very quickly build that report, start to drill into it, and customize it for what you want to see. And so that is an example of, how easy it is to create reports. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize that. We're going to jump back into the slides. So this is where we're going to go a little bit back and forth for a minute, because now this is going to take us right to the Jet Hub. And this is where we'll be able to really help enable remote workers as everyone's starting to transition to work from home, at the moment. So this is going to be your one central location for report consumption. This is just an easy web portal you're going to be able to log into. This is where you'll have things like version control management, automatic updates for these reports. You'll be able to schedule these reports out, share them, run them, consume them right within inside the hub. This is included with all of our paid licenses of Jet. And I'll go take you right now and show you how you can easily log in. Just going to log in with my own credentials. Give that just a second to log in. But as soon as this logs in, this will be where you'll be able to save your reports. You'll be able to run them. You'll have different folders, so you can really clean up the views you want to see. Look at the reports that are going to be the standard reports that you want to run. Again, just give this just a minute as it starts to load. And like I said, this is one of the things, everyone's working on is, that internet connection at home. That seems to slow things up every once in a while, but there we go. Looks like we're all connected. So you can see some of my most common reports that I'm typically running down here. We can see our different folders. So whether you have all your finance reports, all your inventory reports, all your different sales reports, you'll be able to store those right within. And then you can also run these reports right from here. So if I want to run this report right now, I can click that. I can choose if I want to toggle between the number of customers, the report date, different options that are set on the report once it was created. We can do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and run this report. And as that's running, I'm going to look at the details of this report. So you can click into it. You can see what data source this is using, what company it's looking at, the owner, who it was last uploaded by. We can go in and we can start sharing this report out with members of our team. You have things like run history. So we can see how many times this report was ran, what version was ran, the date of it. We also have things, this is where version control is going to live. So in this instance, I only have one version of this report. But say if you have 40 entirely different versions of one report, when you're sharing it out with your team that you're going to be looking at the same version. So you're looking at the same numbers, it's running the same things. So everyone's on the same page and the reports they're consuming. And this is where we'll be able to schedule these reports out. So this is where you can create a task within here. We can schedule a new task. If you want to run this report daily, we can schedule it. If you want to run this report every minute, you could schedule it for that. Weekly, monthly, you can hit save on that. You can click the different reports that you want to be scheduled out. In this case, this would be our top customer sales report. And this would be where you could start distributing this via email, however you had it set up. So I'm going to go back in. And it looks like the status of this report is complete. Now we've successfully ran it. Now we can open this report. And this is where, it's up to you how you want to consume it. So if you want to download this right to your desktop, you can certainly do that. One of the great things about the hub is that you can consume these reports right from your browser anywhere you are. So if you need to quickly, take a look at this report, see the updated numbers. You had someone asking you about sales numbers. You can go ahead, open that report up. Now you can see it's opening up right now. And you can see you can really quickly start consuming this information in the report. So now we have a top customer sales and a year to date. Very detailed information at the bottom here. You can check your variance. We have your top 5 total sales down here. And so that's, that about covers, what the hub can do. And just to reiterate, it's for consuming these reports, scheduling them out, and being able to, again, make these better business decisions based on the data that you're looking at. So I'm just going to close out of that. Jump back into the slideshow. And so now what I want to pull up is our business intelligence tool, which is Jet Analytics. And before I really get into analytics, it's important to understand what our solution is and what the value behind what we're going to provide is. So Jet Analytics being a business intelligence application, what that's going to mean from a business intelligence standpoint is a way to view and run reporting and dashboards against a data warehouse in cubes. And so this is a good representation of, how we have the process set up between transforming this raw data into a data warehouse and ultimately optimizing that data and really bringing it from data we can report off of into true business intelligence. So if we start over here on the left, this is our database, this is our dynamics, this is our nav, BC, GP, whatever database you're using, could be a CRM. And that data is going to be a very complex data model. It's going to be thousands of tables, even more fields. It's going to make a lot of sense from a database standpoint, but it's not necessarily going to make a lot of sense from a reporting standpoint. Maybe you only have one user on your team who can really go in, find the tables and fields they want to see. And it's going to be very difficult, very time consuming to start building the reports that you need. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this database and this raw data, and we're going to push it into our data warehouse. And now what this is going to do is this is going to condense those tables and fields. So before maybe you have 20 tables, 30 fields you're looking at for a certain report you want to build out. Maybe you only have 5, 6, 7 different tables. Same with the fields. It's going to be organized by subject. So whether you're looking at your sales, your accounts payable, your accounts receivable, everything's going to be sitting in the same area. And it's also going to tie together multiple data sources. So if you do have, the database you're running, an old legacy database, the CRM, we're going to be able to tie together all that information into one place for you to start building those reports out, start consuming that information in much faster, much easier way for the end user. And so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to take things one step further from the warehouses, and we're going to optimize this data into our OLAP cubes. So what these are going to do is pre-calculate all this information and lay it out so that every combination of data is ready to be accessed by your users. So what these cubes are going to do is they're going to factor in things like dimensionality, which this is going to mean reporting is going to be even easier. All you're going to have to know is what you want to pull out of the system. So you'll see an example that I'll go through that if you want to build out a fairly complex report, if you want to look at sales by item category, broken down by year, broken down by cost and profit percentage, and you also want to be able to filter that out by your customer, I'm going to be able to do that pretty instantly with very minimal clicks with the cubes and without actually knowing the underlying structure of my data source. And from there, what these cubes are going to factor in is things like calculations. You're going to have your pre-calculated values or KPIs. So you know with the cubes that you have a single calculation set on the back end inside of the cubes. And now I know I've got one single source of truth. So I'm going to know how gross profit is calculated on the cubes. And I'm going to know everybody's looking at that same number, seeing all the same details. And because these are all pre-calculated, you're going to have a substantial increase in performance. So you're not going to have to wait a long time. Anytime you want to see, a new variation of this information, you're going to be able to very quickly slice and dice stuff, make a modern dashboard very quickly. You're going to be able to tie everything together and start really looking for trends within your organization. And now I like this slide because this is just deployment model, just help understand it even further. And what I really want to point out at the center of this and the strong point of our analytics solution is the Jet Data Manager, which is our data warehouse automation tool. And so what this is going to do is this is going to pull that information from your Dynamics database, your CRM, your old legacy database. It's going to be able to pull anything, whether that's SQL, OLE, ODBC, and we're going to pull that information through the staging database into our data warehouse and cubes. And because we can pull anything, it's all drag and drop. There's not a lot of SQL coding going on. We're going to be able to get these cubes and warehouses customized and built out up to 5 times faster than everyone else. It's really going to help automate that process. And because we have pre-built data warehouses, pre-built cubes, you're going to have everything installed in about 2.5 to 3 hours. It's going to get you about 80% of the way there to where you need to be from a reporting standpoint. And then the rest of those 20%, we're going to be able to work with you to start customizing and really, getting everything set up in a way that's going to be perfect for what you need to see from a reporting standpoint. And then from there, you can start consuming that information however you'd like, whether that's right within inside Excel with our Jet add-in or through Power BI, making just very, very good, visualization dashboards within that. So going through, really just to reiterate, I keep talking about how, quick, how easy it's going to be. But that's, what Jet Analytics is going to help with. We're going to be powered by our Jet Data Manager. You're going to be able to go in and quickly make those modifications to the data warehouse and cubes, very quickly and easily meet your exact needs as an end user. We have our pre-built projects for NAV, Business Central, GP that are going to meet, a lot of those needs right out of the box. You're not going to have your end users understanding, the source of that data, and we're going to be able to tie all that information together in one single location. And so now I'm going to jump back into our Excel sheet. I'm going to open up a new one, and I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to start building this data with the cubes. So I'll just change my data source up here. Give it just a second to go in. And then you can see in this case, I'm just going to grab a pivot table. We'll see we have our data source, we have our pre-built cubes. In this case, I'm going to go and grab my sales cube. And then you can see you're going to easily be able to grab what you need without understanding that underlying structure of the data. And you also see, so the cubes are made of two things. That's measures, that's going to be your sales, your cost, your profit percentage. So those are all numerical. And then you have your dimensions, which is anything that's going to give meaning. So that's your bill to customer, your item category, your posting date. So going in, like I said, with just very minimal clicks, I can go in, I can grab my sales, I can grab my cost, profit percentage. I can go down, I can grab my posting date. And then if I want to grab my item category, my product group, my item, you can see we can get really granular with the data. So I'm just going to close this up now to clean it up a little bit. And you see with just a few clicks, we're already starting to build some powerful information to start looking at. And then if we want to go even further, we want to add our global dimensions on there. We can add those in as our slicers. Throw that in. And then because we're in Excel, we can throw this right in there. Start building out, a fairly complex dashboard that did not take long at all to create. And then if we want to even throw in our salesperson on the document as a filter, so we can start filtering out by salespeople, we can certainly do that. And just that quickly, we can start building out these reports. Again, not having to know exactly where that data sits because our analytics tool, has organized that in a way that's very easy to find. We have our profit, we have our profit percentage. Everyone's going to be looking at the same numbers. So that's an example of how we can do it right from within inside Excel. So now, I hear a lot of people who, they use Power BI, and it's a really awesome data visualization tool. But it's important to remember that it's really focused on the front end. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to give an example of using Power BI once we have our analytics tool, really powering the back end of the data that's going into it. So I'm just pulling it up. It's loading on my screen right now, just on the bottom one. So I'll give that just a second. With multiple screens, I'll pull this up. So I'm just connecting. I have Power BI pulled up. I'm connecting into my database right now. Pull that up and show it. And now this is where I'll go in. I'll select my sales cube. And it looks like, just need to pull up Power BI real quick again. For some reason, it just closed out on me. This will just take another second. We'll quickly get into it and start showing, with the analytics tool on the back end, how we can start building these reports through it. So again, I'm logging in. Grab my cubes like I showed just a second ago. Pull this up. And so now, again, just going through this, we can quickly build, a pretty powerful dashboard, again, without really having to know where the data sits. So if I want to go in, I want to grab my sales. We'll go in and grab it by item category. You can drag this down here. If I want to grab my sales by salesperson, we can grab that, drag that down, and I'll go up and I'll grab my sales by my posting date. Grab some KPIs in there. Be our profit. And grab another one. We'll grab our profit percentage. So now we have that. Now we can really get into, what makes Power BI a great tool when you have the data, behind it. So this is where we can go and grab our map and grab our sales by city. And we can really be able to start visualizing, where are my sales coming from? So we have our top salesman, Peter, over here. Where is he primarily selling? We can click right into that. You can see where our next best salesperson, where is those sales coming from? We can look at it all. We can really start digging into the data. So we're looking by year. We can drill into the next hierarchy. So we can look, sales by quarter, sales by month, sales by day, if that's what we want to look into. And so you can really see, how quickly you can build a very powerful dashboard without having to know exactly where that data sits right within inside Power BI. And so that's what that was the high level overview of the different JET applications that I really wanted to focus on. And so now I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint. And so now these are what we've identified, as some reports that are what we believe businesses should really be focusing, on times of uncertainty. Now, there's a number of reasons that clients will purchase JET, but one of the most important, specifically in times like these, is going to be thinking about capital management. So making sure that, your organization is in the best capital position so you can handle any uncertainty that might come up. So I'm going to go through a couple of pre-built reports that you can use. They're going to ship right out of the box. So you can start using these to improve your capital management position. So I'm going to go ahead and grab those right now. And so what I'm going to show first is, a cash flow statement by week. And so you'll see this is one of our real-time reports. Again, this is going to ship right out of the box. And because of that, you're going to have these reports up and running within 2.5 to 3 hours. Start using this information to make improvements in your business. And again, in this case, it's all about capital management. So with this report, you're going to notice we've had this run weekly, because if you're going in, you're looking at your business, you're going to want to go as frequently as possible to see, where all your cash is going. And so because this is one of our real-time reports, if I go in, I'll change my data set here real quick. So if I go in, I want to run this report. We can change the periods if we want to see it. So this is all in the different report options that we can toggle. But in this case, we're going to keep it as a week. You can change the number of periods. You can change your end date. I'm just going to run that. And you'll see, you'll have, if a transaction's been posted, you're going to have that real-time information. You're going to be able to go in, see your latest numbers, see the different details you need to see, This is going to hit directly against your database. There's not going to be any intermediary between the time you're running it and the data you're looking at. And in some of these other examples I'm going to show you, you can really start drilling in to the data as you need. So again, high-level overview of kind of where we're at in terms of our capital position. But then from this report, we can start looking at what are other reports that we can look at and what are other actions we can take to improve this cash position for an organization. So working down this cash flow report, I'm going to go down and we're going to say, let's take a look at our accounts receivable. So we can think, all right, where are we getting cash that we can go in and make some changes so that we can start to improve our capital management decision. So I'll pull up another one of our pre-built reports. And I'll pull up that's the one I will get to. So I'm actually going to pull up our accounts receivable report. So this is the one I wanted to pull up. So again, thinking about it, where are we getting cash that we can go in and start making improvements to your capital management position? So this report, this one is specifically broken out by customer, broken out by aging. This is going to be one that's built using our analytics tool. You'll see how easy it actually was to build this report out. So we're going to go in and we're going to take a look at, who's going to owe us the most money. Maybe there's a place where we can go in and see where we can collect some additional cash. Maybe we want to go in and incentivize them to pay their invoices sooner. There's all sorts of, ins and outs we can look at. But drilling into the details, we can take a look at Bainbridge right here. And, we can look over, we can see who's a salesperson that sold us. So we'll scroll through. And so now we have our salesperson on document is Bart Duncan. So we think, maybe do we need to get in touch with Bart? Maybe we want to, try to get them to pay their invoice a little bit earlier. Maybe we want to offer them a little bit of a discount. So that's just, one way that this report can be used. Another way would be the upcoming receivables. So receivables that are going to be owed down the line. Now on this again, we could go in, we can see, what is coming up that we're owed. We can drill into that, see where the opportunity lies. If we want to improve the portion of cash that we have on hand, maybe we can collect on some of these that'll be coming in, and we could drill back into it. We could see who the salesperson is, who do I want to follow up with, maybe incentivize to go in and collect on these invoices early so you have more cash on hand. And now going back into the cash flow statement, we're going to work our way down. So next, after that accounts receivable, we're going to take a look at our inventory. And with inventory, what you want to be focused on is what inventory can I turn into cash as quickly as possible. And for that same thing, we'll go through a few different reports. So we'll look at this inventory dashboard we have. And again, this is built using the data that our analytics tools, have helped with. We have a nice dashboard here. You can see your current product value mix, your value history. You can see your value by category, what your breakdowns are. And you think, are we optimizing this product mix that we're hanging on to be as effective as possible? Are we hanging on to stuff that we can turn around fairly quickly to get more cash? And are we trying to liquidate or get rid of anything that we've had on stock for some time? And so we can look at a couple different ways on how that can be done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, we have our inventory report with no activity. And so what I can do is run this report. And again, this report is going to be done in real time. And so I'm just going to hit run up here. And we can see, we want to see what hasn't had any activity on it since the beginning of the year. So we can quickly run that. There we go. And now we can see, this is our inventory, but we haven't had any activity on at all. So, what can we look at? What do we want to liquidate now if we're trying to improve our capital management position? Maybe we want to sell all of these. Might not be any reason keeping them on inventory. And going back to what I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, we can start running some what-if scenarios right from within inside Excel. So if you want to say, hey, I want to sell these, and maybe we take a 20% hit on the cost that we have, you can go in and we can start calculating that out with inside Excel, just like this. And you can see, okay, even if we go in, we take a 20% hit on this inventory, we're still going to have this much, cash that we just freed up and really help to add to, improve your capital management. And this is all done using Jet's pre-built reports. And now lastly, I have one more example that I want to take a look at. And so this is going to be, very similar to the accounts receivable example, built using, our analytics tool. We can take a look at this report. You can toggle between what you want to see, different companies, whether you want to see different currency, and you can take a look at, where can we push off paying some of these vendors, and who are the vendors that are okay us taking longer to pay so that, we can hang on, have more cash on hand. So it's the same concept as accounts receivable. And then we have our accounts payable, by currency as well that we can take a look at. So again, who's okay with us putting some of this off? You can drill into this data. You can say, okay, who do we need to take a look at? Who do we purchase this from? Drill into this. Take a look at the information. We'll be able to look at, who we spoke with for this. We can go back in. Maybe we need to purchase additional inventory from them, and because they're going to be all right if we hold off on those payments. And that's really just an additional step. So you can wait to pay them on longer, hang on the cash longer, and really focus on really getting good grasp on improving your capital management position. So again, those are the pre-built reports that kind of come right out of the box. And that's really what I wanted to focus on for this webinar today. Now it looks like we have some time left, so we can go ahead and have a little bit of a Q&A. If anyone has any questions on here, we can definitely be there to help. So that's McKinley or Jim, if anyone's had any questions, or if we have anyone on.
All right, Josh, doesn't sound like any questions, but you did a great job. Thank you so much for your presentation today. Really showcased how Jet Global software can help our clients with their reporting and analytic needs, and really is an ease of use product, and it is easy to use and very efficient. So that said, if there aren't any other questions, anyone, if you have any interest or follow-up questions regarding Jet Global or anything that Josh has mentioned today, please come back to me or come back to Josh. We can answer your questions. We can provide a more detailed demo if that's a more specific demo to your business, and we can go from there. But if you don't have any questions, we wish you a happy day. Be safe. Thank you, Josh and the Jet Global team. Have a great day, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.